Sharia, sorry.
That's okay.
So,
Are you ready?
mhm.
Today is April 28th, 2020. This is a public hearing for the Planning and Zoning Commission. And I will take roll call. Mrs. Gresham?
Here.
Mr. Shipley?
Here.
Mr. Baum? Ms. Rigdon? Here. And Ms. Modditz. And I'll turn it over to you, Ms. Gresham.
All right. So the first thing that we have on our agenda is an open public hearing. And it is regarding a variance application 2020-01 from Mark Martinez, who is the owner applicant, who is requesting a 1.5-foot front yard fence height variance from the required 42 inches, 3.5 feet at 512 Roy Lane, also known as Block B, Lot 7 of the Powell Addition subdivision, as described in section 17.02.040 F4AI of Ordinance 1052. So do we have any comments from the open meeting?
The only thing I was wondering is that a corner lot?
It is not.
By there today.
The one thing I wanted to state was the reasoning I chose to apply for this variance is 3.5 feet isn't realistic for a solid fence. The main purpose is to try to keep the neighborhood dogs out of my yard as well as keep my dogs within that area. And 3.5 feet is just not realistic in height. I understand that these ordinances and resolutions are put into place for safety concerns. I believe it's reasonable asking to go up to 5 feet instead of 6. You're still able to see into the property as well as seeing out. And it is not a corner lot. It's in the middle of a block, so there are no site restrictions. I think the ordinance was written this way to prevent any kind of site restrictions, both for safety of backing out with a vehicle, as well as when it comes to, say, law enforcement or fire and EMS situations. You don't want it unreasonable where you can't get in there. And I honestly don't want it too tall because I don't want, if you can't see in, then I can't see out. And for safety issues, I'm asking just to have the variance 1.5 feet up to 5 feet. And it's also, since it's adjacent to the street, I want it to be safe for my kids too, with traffic passing through there so they can play in the yard and I don't have to worry about them as much.
Okay.
I went and looked at that. That's nowhere near a site triangle.
No, sir. It's
So, site visibility wouldn't be an issue at all, because from what I saw, where,
Can you all hear Ed?
Barely.
Okay,
I said it was nowhere near a site triangle, the site triangle for a corner, anything like that, that would obstruct the vision.
Okay.
I drove by and looked at it there.
That was my only concern.
okay. Do we have other questions for Mark?
I will say that the ad was put in the paper. We sent out letters to all property owners within 100 feet. There was no objections to it. And all the letters went out and were received. Code enforcement does know that he turned in an application. They don't see any problem with it, and neither does community development. It doesn't affect the site triangle, as we all have said, so there's no safety issues.
Okay,
And I also provided some pictures of what it will look like to show that. I know we've had applicants in the past where it was kind of a pallet looking fence or kind of ragtag, and it will be done really nice and professionally. And at this time, I just stand for any further questions. If not, then I'd ask for your approval of the variance.
Are you doing the work yourself, or?
I am. I'm gonna have some people help me, but I'll be doing the majority of it.
other questions? All right, and you all heard the report that all of the necessary requirements have been done by the, office to make sure that everyone received their letter and that there is no concerns from any of Mark's neighbors. So having said that, we thank you, Mark. We
Thank
will
you.
consider your request.
Thank you, appreciate it.
Okay. Moving to the closed public hearing. Are there any requests for changes or deletions to the agenda?
No.
None? Okay. How about those of you who have had a chance to read the approval of the minutes?
Let me, do a roll call for the,
Oh, for the
Right,
closed
right,
public
right,
hearing,
yeah.
excuse me.
no, for the, consideration of changes.
Oh,
Ms. Gresham,
are we voting on the,
we're voting,
or is
to leave
that,
the agenda as is.
oh, to leave the agenda at?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Yes.
Mr. Shipley?
Yes.
And Ms. Rigdon?
Yeah.
Okay, so now, we'll move on to the minutes from the last meeting, which was October 22nd, 2019. Are there any corrections or questions regarding those minutes?
I'll
No.
make a motion, we accept the minutes.
A motion from Ed to accept the minutes as printed. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, in a second, thank you.
Ms. Gresham?
Yes.
Mr. Shipley?
Yes.
And Ms. Rigdon?
Yes.
All right. So moving on to work items. The work item on the agenda is in regard to the variance application 2020-01 that is presented from the open hearing earlier as a request from Mark Martinez. Any questions or comments regarding that? Okay, hearing none. We can proceed to vote on your approval
I'd
or
like to make a
disapproval.
motion to accept.
A motion from Ed to accept,
By this board pending approval from the commission.
Well, we'll just, the planning and zoning. Yes,
By this
yes,
board, yes, okay.
So we don't have to take it to commission this time,
Okay.
oh, okay,
unless there's an appeal or anything like
Okay,
that.
perfect.
okay, great.
Yes,
So a motion from Ed to approve the variance application. We have a second,
Second.
okay. Motion is made and seconded. We'll have a roll call vote.
Ms. Gresham?
Yes.
Mr. Shipley?
yes.
And Ms. Rigdon?
Yeah.
All right. Do we have any items from the public? There's no public, by the way.
I'd just like to thank the planning and zoning board for their approval of the variance and thank you for all that you do. I appreciate it.
Okay, thank you, Mark. Items from the staff.
Right now, we have nothing for next month's agenda. If that does change, I will let you know.
Okay,
So we'll see how all this COVID stuff's going, and we might have to meet again like this, but
yeah,
we'll make it work.
okay. Well, we appreciate you making the extra precautionary measures for us to be able to meet. That's very good. And we don't have any commissioners present, so is there any other business to come before this meeting?
No, I don't have anything.
All righty. Hearing none, meeting stands adjourned.
Cool, we have to vote.
Wonderful.
On the adjournment?
Yes, ma'am.
I'll make a motion to
Okay,
end the meeting.
I thought you could adjourn by acclamation. Okay. Do we have a second?
I second it.
All right,
All right. Ms. Gresham,
yes.
Mr. Shipley,
Yes.
and Ms. Rigdon.
Yes.
Meeting is adjourned.
All right.